When I talk about religion with Catholics, I don't know, gave me a sense of pride of my own heritage, I guess, because I used to not think Buddhism as that very important to my identity, but now I believe it is.
I think the discussions between just one-on-one between a Catholic and a Buddhist definitely helped each of us learn a lot of new things. I think I definitely learned a lot about Catholicism just through the discussion, and also when we actually went to Mass.
I've learned about Buddhism in the classroom for years, but having actually spoken to youths my own age about their religion and how they follow it was an experience that I could never have imagined. I feel like I have so much more of a connection now, not only with these other youths, but also with my own faith. I see how other people observe my faith, and I feel like I can realize more now that my faith is, to other people, it is a faith. To me, it was always just a set of guidelines that I followed, but now it more is my faith. It is what I believe in, and other people can see that.
The religions, there's a lot of similarities, is what I learned, and we're really no different. We're all people, and I found out that we all really get along, and it was just such an amazing, great experience.
I guess coming into the trip, I didn't really expect to connect so easily with the people that we met on this trip. I just thought that it would be like, I don't know, just from history and all that I've experienced in my life, that religion has always been kind of a touchy subject, and that unless you're like the same religion, and I just thought it was really neat how it wasn't really a big issue. It was really easy for us to you know, experience chanting with the Buddhists, and then us like praying the rosary, and then during the day a lot of us just kind of like forgot even like who was Buddhist and who was Catholic, and I don't know, just everyone here was so welcoming. I just felt like, especially coming to the New Mexico, just culture in general, and the people like Jennifer and the other leaders in the group, just everyone was so welcoming, and it didn't feel like there were any barriers that we had to overcome. Just there was no heated arguments, no discussions, no standoffishness from anybody. It just felt so welcoming and so at ease and so at peace. Because, like I mentioned earlier, I think just like a lot of us are so used to being in a competitive environment, and in a environment where we have to like prove ourselves, or like where we have to explain ourselves to people, but it just felt like everybody accepted one another without conditions.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever learned like this much about Buddhism in this short of time, because like learning firsthand from Buddhists my age, and they're just normal people, and the only thing that separates us is our beliefs, religious beliefs, and just like I learned many similarities, and just between Catholics and Buddhists, and many differences too. It made my faith stronger, because when they asked me questions that sometimes I wasn't exactly sure about the answer, and it made me think harder, because I don't go to Catholic school, so I don't go to religion class every day for Catholics, so it really strengthened my beliefs, and by learning more about them, and I also learned more about myself.
I thought that it was really interesting how much that the Catholics and Buddhists had in common, and it was just so surprising, and it was a very valuable lesson that I learned.
I'm a believer that you know, many religions all kind of everybody has truth in their own religion, and so I feel like you know, going and learning about Buddhism is just me trying to seek truth. If that answers the question. Yep. For teens my age and you know, who are Catholic, I would say that it's you don't need to feel intimidated or nervous or scared of opening up to another religion. or even learning about it, because in the end, knowledge, doesn't hurt you.
I'm really, really grateful to have learned more about another type of religion, because I really didn't know much about Buddhism. I don't think I ever met a Buddhist around. Maybe I have, but they just don't say it. And like learning their, well, not learning, but like listening to their chants was awesome. It was beautiful to like listen to their tradition. And and I feel like we Catholics also touch them.
At first, discussing between the Buddhists and Catholics, I was kind of nervous, and I was a little worried that there would be too many differences between, but as we went through the one-on-one and the group talks, I noticed that we really had a lot in common, and that we were really open to each other, and I realized that we all had the same goal, like peace and harmony. Through this trip, I feel that my faith in Buddhism became a lot stronger through teaching the Catholics about our religion. I felt that I really got to talk from the basis and teach others while learning myself. As I was talking to the Catholics, they brought up questions that I never really thought about, but because of their questions, I really got to think deeply into my religion, and I feel more confident to share this experience with other people.
It was really cool. It was definitely brought a lot of insight into their religion, and I mean, I went on a similar trip a year before, and I still learned a lot of new stuff. Like there's, while we have prayer, they have this activity they call session, and it's where they meditate and their ancestor spirits come and offer them guidance, and they try and open their minds and relax so that they can hear. And then in times of difficulty or new beginnings, such as going into college or being ordained as a priest, they have an advanced session where they have a spiritual medium, which can be anyone who has enough experience in shinnyo-en, and they're able to converse and have a specific dialogue with the spirits about it. And I thought that was really neat, because I didn't realize that shinnyo-en Buddhism was based so much on relationships. I thought that it was more trying to seek enlightenment, but there's so many parallels, and just continuing to talk with them, it's just amazing how alike we are, and I just think that there's a lot of beauty in religion and a lot of truth in religion. I think that it's allowed me to really understand my beliefs more. Being able to explain them requires a lot of... It's interesting because things that you take for granted, you have to explain, and so you really explore that part of yourself, and just learning about other people's faith, it makes you understand your own faith more, because you're able to think about things, and you're able to really appreciate how powerful religion is and how it impacts all these people. And I think that it's made me understand my own faith more, and as well as understanding Buddhism, and these experiences have really bolstered my understanding of my own faith, and it's just great in general. I love it.
Before, I hadn't been so much of a strong follower, I feel, and I didn't really know much, and I didn't know what to ask when I had questions, or if I didn't know something, I didn't know what to ask for. And this trip really has taught me a lot of the basics I feel I should have known before, and I feel like I know it a lot more, and I know my purpose now. I really connected with them. It feels like before other religions kind of seemed like an alien topic. I didn't know what it was, and I thought a lot of people were really strong to their religion, because I've met some people who really believe in their religion and they won't listen to anyone else, and their religion is the only way. And so I was afraid that was what everyone was going to be like, but when I came here and I got to know everyone, I found out that that's not how everyone is. Everyone was really nice, and they're just like me.
I think the most memorable one was from the Zen monastery. It was a good opening to the whole trip. It was very peaceful, and it helped me open the doors into the other experiences.
You meet so many new people. I think I'm gonna remember this for the rest of my life. It's definitely not something I'll forget.
I would absolutely recommend going on this trip. I didn't want to at first. I was so nervous about going. I was like, what will the other kids be like? Will it be really hard to talk to these Buddhist teens about my faith? But it was fascinating, like how everyone, it was just like I was talking to another kid at school. And then all of a sudden we would be doing prayer, and they would be doing these chants that were in this other language that I'd never heard of, yet they were exactly like me. But they were so different in the way that they worshipped. And then we compared all the similarities, and I just think it's an experience that you don't want to miss out on.
I felt really comfortable around the Catholics, and just throughout the entire experience and the entire trip, I didn't really feel any wall between the Catholics and the Buddhists, and there were some points where I almost forgot about who was a Catholic, who was a Buddhist, and I thought that was really nice how we didn't really base each other on our religion, but mainly just the humans that we were and just our personalities.
Actually, these past few years, I've been trying to learn more about my religion, but it hasn't really worked out. And I think this has definitely motivated me to try to learn more about Buddhism and become more involved.